All right. Hopefully, this audio is not too bad. Put on some music for myself. The timeout lights. Okay. Uh, let's see here. Sorry, I'm getting some music on in the background. Hopefully, everyone is doing well. My girlfriend is out of town on a girls' trip, so I figured, I had a few people on LinkedIn say, "Hey, why don't you do a live stream?" I was talking about getting promoted recently, and I said, "All right, I'm pretty excited about it. So let's talk about it." I think the last time I did a video or live stream for anything, something. Um, the last time I did says 8 months ago. Okay, and then I did one. Wait, no, let me see here. Yeah, 8 months. The latest video was 2 years ago, and live stream was 8 months ago. Hey, Javier. Uh, but yeah, man. So I thought I'd jump on here for a second, see what's what, catch up, little life update. Um, but overall, no complaints. I have been at the company I've spent the most time with. So if you've followed the channel before, I am a big proponent of job hopping. I kind of think that's the best way that you can really lead your career, especially early on. Thanks, Chris. So I've been with ClickUp just over 2 years. Previously, longest I lasted was a year and 8 months at PwC. Everything else has been around there, year and 6 months, a little less. Um, but I uh, I thoroughly enjoy where I work. I like what I work on. Um, kind of in the long haul, have a bunch of stock options. Um, gonna write it out to IPO. But yeah, so recently was promoted to staff engineer rather, from senior, and you know, it's kind of the if anybody knows me knows I kind of hyper focus on certain goals before accomplishing other goals. So I have for a while been wanting to get past the senior title so that I can transition some of my mental energy towards like more life goals, like getting engaged and planning for a wedding and all that sort of stuff. So this was the last big one. Something like 70% of engineers never make it out of a senior title, which can cause issues down the road because you get in this weird spot where senior title is a little bit more ambiguous. Um, so uh, you love the click up marketing. I gotta say, man. So I've used a lot of different sort of project management tools. I've used Azure DevOps at workplaces. I've used Jira at workplaces. I used yeah, God, Amazon has this horrible internal tool that they make. I think it's called Sim. I forget the name of it. Um, ClickUp definitely has them beat hands down in pretty much every aspect, from functionality to UI UX to flexibility. Um, hey Jamie, thank you. I am doing very well, man. And, work is good. Happy as can be. I would love to buy another house. I bought the house that I'm in as an investment property. This is like first world problems I'm about to say right now, so no one feels sorry for me. This is just me being frustrated. I'm sure many of you are trying to get into your first house and are like absolutely annoyed, like I am. But so I bought the house that I've been living in for about 2.5 years, and the goal was like to move into it for a year and a half ish, 2 years, and then go and like get a house, and this will be investment property. Well, as everyone knows, interest rates are so high that this is now just my house because I can't afford to go buy the house that I actually want. which is wild because like I make a ton of money, and so like I worry about like other people who aren't in like the same financial position, how people are ever going to get into like home ownership because um, it's crazy. It's crazy out there. That's living in Florida. Like I couldn't imagine trying to get started in California or like Seattle or New York or something like that. But yeah, I'm good, man. Things are going well with the girlfriend. Uh, I will be asking for her father's blessing in the nearest future, um, and going down all that path. Uh, so um, yeah, no complaints. Still doing the mentoring, but um, so yeah, and I got you know I'm in a good place, man. The one thing I would say is I would love to lose some weight, but I'm not doing a very good job at. There's something about being in a relationship with me. Like relationship weight is a real thing. That like the only time I can ever like, and I exercise. I go to the gym or I'll like go on the treadmill for an hour or something like that. Like walk on it. I'll do Pilates with my girlfriend, or we'll go on jogs. Although my knee's kind of messed up. Um, but my diet, I cannot seem to control my diet with my current girlfriend because one, she's just kind of annoyed I'm going on a diet, and two is I just don't have like the same motivating factors. Um, so something I'm struggling with. But when it's like being sick, you're like it's you have a very motivating factor not to like die alone, to like date, and it's It's yeah. Anyhow, that's probably the one aspect of my life I need to improve on. Thanks, Michael. I hope everything's been going well with you as well, sir. Um, hope you're still doing your blog and enjoying it. Um, but yeah, so um, trying to think what. Oh, since I probably last posted, I got another cat. So my girlfriend's big into cats, so we got a cat. She's a little fluffy. Let me see if I show a picture. She's hiding probably right now. Uh, she's probably sleeping in the other room. I'll She's cute. She's here. I actually took this picture this morning. She looks a little crazed because she had like post poop zoomies. Might be a little hard to see, but she's a little fluffy girl. We've had her about 8 months, maybe 6 months. Uh, but um, she's a sweetheart. But yeah, promotion of staff. So interesting thing, hard thing to do. Um, you know, what's the pay bump looking like? Uh, well, it all kind of depends on how you want to evaluate it. So um, I make good money. So when I when I negotiated my original salary, I traded away some salary for more stock options. Uh, um, and so I've always really valued the big payoff because what you'll kind of find out, or if you don't know already, is that after about $100,000, 120, you get taxed beyond belief. So uh, it becomes quite a bit. So I'm more than happy to uh, trade away salary for stock options. So yeah, so I got a bunch of stock options along with a 10% base bump. So uh, you know, done. But yeah, I'm doing well. So um, yeah, That's one of the things that you'll have to navigate also in your career, when you're going for senior or you're going to staff. It's like when you jump jobs, kind of figuring out what risk you're willing to take. So when I was at Amazon and I was looking to leave, um, there's a couple different options. One, it was to go to a similar company like a Meta or a Google, um, where I would trade one comp structure for another, uh, and then where you're just kind of swapping in one job for another, and then the other is like, oh, do I want a higher base but less RSUs, and so I'll do options, and take a little bit more risk. That's kind of the path I went. So how bad is tax on return? Okay, uh, it's not as bad if you're married. So here's no, this is not tax advice. This is not financial advice. This is just my own personal knowledge and things. So just uh, generic uh, clarification. So the thing to consider when it comes to your taxes, um, is okay. So somebody like me, right? So let's say with my base, I made 230 last year of my base salary. Let's say that, right? That's not all your taxes. Um, so I have other income streams. I have a rental property. I have um, courses. I have a little bit of affiliate money that comes in. I have royalties from other courses. So when I do my taxes every year, you have two buckets that things go into. You have what's considered your active income, and that's like your normal job, your W-2s, and then you have passive income. At least yeah, and you get taxed at very different rates. So what you have to do from a tax perspective is one thing to keep in mind is that like the whole reason to go into home ownership as like a part of your passive income for rental properties isn't necessarily the actual passive income. So it's about the depreciation. And the reason that's important is essentially you can have a net flat result by leveraging the tax code on your passive income where you're not paying taxes on the passive portion as long as your depreciation makes sense and is all legal and everything like that. So, um, but to the 200, like if you just want to talk about the active income, so like my job, I I think my tax rate even after all deductions and everything was 25% around there. And so basically $1 in $4 is gone. That was like after everything equaled out. $1 in $4. So like when you go and like when you go and you say, okay, I'll take a base of 230, I'll take a base at 250, what you have to really think about is that $20,000 is really more like $15,000. And so are you willing to trade that off for more risk? Because oftentimes it will be, when they're equating to RSUs or they're equating to stock options, when you're negotiating your salary, is you'll get the full value. It'll just be slight in a different form. And the thing to keep in mind when getting um, with stock options, if depending on how you do them later on, right? It's more risk, but the taxes are much more manageable because you pay capital gains. So you don't pay income tax on them, which is a big difference because your income tax can be taxed at much lower rates depending on your total income. So anyhow, these are all like grown grown man big decision type things that like when you're going, one thing I advise you to when you're going and you're like making these decisions on where to work and what your comp structure to be, you have to fully understand the tax implications of it. Because it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars, in reality. So dogs are doing well. They're happy as can be. Boise is right there. Gators probably in the hall. Um, but yeah, am I? Do I feel AI will take away from engineering jobs? No, no, I'm not worried about that. I think if anything, it's just gonna augment it. It's gonna make you go quicker. That's kind of been my experience, anyhow. Um, so yeah, um, I it's a different. Yeah, yeah, I'm good. Accountant help with that. It's not as complicated as you think, uh, but you definitely need to understand. So like, here's a little here's a little nugget that I found out recently. So like I had mentioned that this house that I'm in, I want to turn into a rental and then eventually go buy my primary house. It's on hold because of everything. But so as I've been like, and I've just been like watching YouTube videos, reading articles about this sort of stuff because when you can't get your income up anymore, you start figuring out how to save money and all this sort of stuff, normal stuff. Right? There's only really two things you can do with money. If you're trying to invest more, is either you can make more or you can save more, and then you start figuring out ways to save. So anyhow, so the basic stuff will be like, oh, max out your 401k, all that sort of stuff because you're not paying taxes on that money. Um, whether you do pre-tax or Roth, there's a whole discussion. Your HSA, that's like the basic stuff. So the more advanced stuff that I've sort of have read about is when it comes to short-term rentals. So short, kind of get off topic here, but I moved to San Diego. No, I'm still in Florida. I've been working remotely for like 4 years. Since I worked at PwC. I worked remotely at PwC. I worked remotely at Amazon. I've worked remotely at ClickUp. So ClickUp's like a very international company. We have engineers all throughout the world, so there's always somebody available, which is great. It's honestly a lot of companies say they're like that. It's ClickUp's first organization that is truly a fully international company. So, but yeah, um, do I have the opportunity to work in California for ClickUp? Uh, I mean, I'm sure if I asked to relocate, I would, but it wouldn't make any sense for me, and I don't think my girlfriend would agree. Okay, so passive and active buckets. So one thing to keep in mind is your your deductions and passive income can never transfer over to your active income. So let's say you actually have on paper a loss because of depreciation. Let's say you made $20,000 in passive income, but then you with depreciation you actually take off $30,000. That extra $10,000 cannot carry over to your active income unless you meet a whole bunch of like certain criteria when it comes to being a real estate investor, that like you're either an agent or like you spend something like 800 hours a year. Like it's a high bar. Now that doesn't actually that's for long-term rentals and normal real estate stuff. Short-term rentals apparently are classified as active income. So there's actually a benefit to doing something like Airbnb or like some sort of hotel thing where that 10,000 depreciation you can actually take off of your active income and essentially pay, if you had enough and it all made sense, lower your tax burden. So anyhow, man, it's I've been going down the rabbit hole on this stuff for like 2 months right now. This is a little bit what's going on. Am I back now? I just decided to do a live stream because my girlfriend's out of town, and I shared on LinkedIn that I got promoted a little while ago, and people said hop on here. So, and now we're talking about taxes. We're not even talking about like how to become a staff engineer or like what's different, all that sort of stuff. It's really just taxes at this point. But like, here's the thing, man. I've always been like straightforward about this about my own career. Is It's just about making money ultimately. And like it's so that, you know, I can take care of myself, I can take care of my girlfriend, my future fiance wife, our future children, and my family. And like, that, you know, you need money. Like it's just like that's the state of the world. Like I'm not telling you to go take a job that you absolutely hate, but like figure out how to find a job that you enjoy and how to make money. And when you get that money, figure out how to hold on to it more than anything else. Like if you've ever watched Dave Ramsey, that from their like millionaire study, 74% of things that made people millionaires is just their savings rate. It's not rate of return. It's just like, did people save consistently? And if so, how much? And it's kind of like that. How much money can you hold on to? It's not necessarily even how big your check is. It's, you have bigger checks, you can hold on to more. Great. It's easier. Life is good. All that makes sense. But like, if you can save, how much of your money do you not spend? And like, taxes are like the natural. Dude, I paid like 70 grand in taxes last year, or 60 grand. It's crazy. How often do we go on vacations? All the time. Maybe not vacations. Last year, we didn't go on as many vacations, but we take lots of like mini trips, whether it's to go visit family or. But I would say I probably take us on a cruise every 6 months, and then she has some trips for her work, so we probably travel a lot more than other people do. So it's very important to me. I'm a big cruise guy. That's probably been the thing that like since life has gotten a little cushy that I have really enjoyed more than anything else. I'd encourage all of you to at some point in your life give it a shot. Oh yeah, dude. I have a cruise going on in a few weeks, and then I just convinced my dad's side of the family to do a 10-day cruise through Europe. So we have that all booked out for next year, and I'm looking at booking a cruise 6 months from now to take my mom on a cruise. So like about a year ago, I took my mother on her first cruise, and my aunt as her kind of companion with my girlfriend, and we went down to Mexico. Um, so who does the planning? Mainly my girlfriend. I kind of like, the cruises don't take that much planning, man. You just got to find the one that makes sense for you, and then like you go and book excursions, you book what drink package you want, all that sort of stuff, and then what dinner. But yeah, so like you can like that's another thing I like about cruises is that like you can do a lot of different things, but you can have it all booked in like an hour and a half if like you're going about it. What's so good about a cruise? All right, so like one, you can find excellent deals on cruises. So like, let's say you wanted to do, and I'm in Florida, so it might be a little easier. If you're like in a landlocked state, like you're gonna have to travel. But if you're on the coast, it's much better. So, um, if you were like willing to take off on a moment's notice, like, oh hey, I'll take a week cruise in 3 weeks. That same cruise can sometimes cost you uh half of what it would normally cost. So you could do like a 20-day cruise. Um, through Europe last minute for like $2,000-3,000, which depending on your budget might sound like a lot, but it's like $100 a day. Now, I personally like that. I just am gone. Like everything's taken care of. I don't have to worry about it. I like eating a lot. Um, you're having some drinks, doing all that. So I'm a big fan of it. I just excursions are great, right? So I've gone cave tubing, jet skiing, um, riding horses on the beach, going through water, off-roading. Yeah, man, I'm a big fan of all of it. So I don't see any point in my life I don't go on cruises like minimum once a year, if not 2 3 times a year. That's just like there's not a lot of things I spend money on. Most of my money is spent on things my girlfriend wants to do, and like taking her to dinner and investing, and like but the cruises is like that's That's my shit. I I love it. So I'm definitely gonna be one of those dudes that is like 40 years old and like as you book cruises with more things, you get like membership things and you save money and get more benefits. So anyhow, um, what are your thoughts on the future of software devs and AI? I think it's probably gonna be exactly what most engineers are doing today, which is you're building a skill set on how to use these language models to help get you to answers quicker. So like I'll give you a good example is I often will write very small functions that I need to write unit tests for. Um, or even just like things like, hey, I have an object, it has an ID, write me a function. Like I know what I want to write, but I can write a sentence and it will print it out for me. And then I can write unit tests to validate it and do all these sorts of things. So like I do that pretty frequently. I will say that like the way to leverage it right now is you need to the level of abstraction is important because what you basically want to do is just serve it bite-sized things that aren't doesn't really have too much context into your application. So like when you're working in, you know, a massive code base that has WebSockets, there's authentication, there's, you know, 10 million lines of code, whatever it is. There's HTML, there's CSS, generic components. These AI products don't have the capacity to have enough context to do anything with it. Um, so um, yeah, regex is another great one. I can't tell you, dude, I've struggled with writing regular expressions my entire career. It's just like one of those things that I consider more memorization than logic, which is why I've stayed away from as well. I think it's horrible to do that because you won't succeed. Um, but yeah, stuff like that. Um, you know, it'll help you write a regex that like in 3 minutes that might have taken you 4 hours. Like it's it's just a time saver. It eliminates the busy work. Um, I have not seen Devin the AI programmer. I've heard about it, but I have not used it, nor am I super familiar with it. I just know it's been popping up. So your video on how to become self great self taught inspiring stuff. 4 years ago, I full stacked out. 3 years ago, I laid off last year and have been unemployed for 14 months. Well, I'm sorry to hear that you're unemployed. Keep applying, keep going out there. Um, it's doing the job and getting a job are two different skill sets. Honestly, with my mentoring, which shameless plug, link in the description below if you're interested in it. You'd be surprised how like where the people who are like go and take my mentoring and where they struggle isn't even the technical side of things. It's about how to actually get the job. I'd say that's about 75% of where I work with them the most. Yeah. So the one thing I will say is um, I probably started this YouTube channel 8 years ago at this point, if not longer, 9, 10 years ago. Um, and people were worried about software jobs not being here then, and they're worried about it now. And honestly, you just gotta keep going. Um, you know, the truth of the matter is, a lot of these tools aren't necessarily gonna replace engineers. They're just gonna make them more productive. Um, and there might be an argument, mean say, oh, if you have more productive engineers, then you need less. That's kind of a fair argument, I guess. I just think that once you like, there's also a benefit to being more productive. That there's other roles like when you can have you're gonna have be able to specialize in more niche things. There's gonna be roles that pop up because of this. You know, um, anytime technology goes and replaces role jobs, it creates jobs in some form or fashion. So, you know, what's your opinion on specializations? My opinion is that that's how you go and create a good career. So, I've essentially focused on specializing in the front end, um, and so uh, that's been very beneficial to me. um, and the reason for it is that, like, you don't want to be a jack of all trades because you don't ever really get better. So if you want to increase your income, you have to do it by showcasing that you are uh, more proficient than the average engineer. Because oftentimes companies that pay well, that have big, that have money, they're building big products and they're building big teams, and so they're looking for you to excel at one part so others can excel otherwise. I don't even know what HTML are. I work in Angular, so I love it, man. So I've worked in Angular, I've worked in React, I've worked in Vue. Angular, hands down, is my favorite framework. Yeah, yeah, excellent point, Eli. If devs are more productive, there'll be more projects that come up. And like, what happens when more projects come up? There's more people that need to maintain it, build features, and like they're more profit. There's gonna be businesses that couldn't exist, you know, 5 years ago that will exist. And that's one of the interesting things about like a lot of this AI stuff is, if you take it back 20 years, um, you know, software as a service wasn't really even a thing. Like SaaS, and now it's like the best companies in the world are SaaS companies. Um, so a lot of this, like when did Chat GPT release? It released in November. Hey guys, keep this in mind right now. In November 30th, 2022 was when Chat GPT had its initial release date. That means it has not even been 2 years. Like all this AI stuff, all this, like, it really hasn't been a thing until people started using ChatGPT less than like 2 years ago. What is it about? It's not even at 18 months. We're not even at 18 months since all this, and like people are doing like pretty spectacular things, man. Hey, Kronzi, hope you're doing well. Like they're doing pretty spectacular things, and that's all cool. But like, let's just take it out to 5, 10 years. Um, where are like, what are we even? What are what's the progression look like? How are we leveraging these things? So it's uh you know there's lots of cool stuff that can happen. I'll be interested to see like uh where all this goes, you know but it's still early stages, man. Like there's a whole world, and it's not even saying to be stressed. I'm just saying we don't even know like what's going to exist. Um, like there's like we have all these like thoughts of what AI is going to be like from like Star Trek and like like just from like futuristic movies and this idea. But like, what I would love for it to like right now it's prompt engineering, right? Right now it's you give it some input, it figures it out. But like, you know, 5 years from now, what may happen is you may be the prompt. And what I mean by that is you might be just on your computer and you have a webcam here, and it takes the input from your webcam. It has what's on the screen, and it sees you googling something and you're not finding it, or it sees you're frustrated, and and it may just go and sorry, Cronzy threw me off here. So it may just go and figure out what it is you're looking for. Oh, hey, did you actually mean this? And this and that. How's April? I don't know. I wish her the best of luck. She and I have been broken up for about 4 years, so I hope she's doing well. We don't stay in touch. How do you continue to skill up, and how do you know which direction to go? So this depends on where you're at in your career, um, and what your goals are. So depending on that is like what the answer is. Is there a particular like what's your goals, and then I can tell you. Um, but yeah, so like we don't have any idea of like what I would love for it, like real AI to fix. I love for it to fix my Roomba that gets stuck every day. Like we can't figure that out. But we're supposed to be able to have this magical thing that's going to do all of our jobs. I don't have a Roomba that doesn't get stuck on a cord or a dog toy. Like, you know, one day, one day we'll get there. Thinking of focusing on C sharp and .NET. Um, my general advice is to focus on what's in demand, generally, and like for what I've seen, that seems to be JavaScript and Python. Um, I have uh, I have a lot of buddies who are C sharp and .NET devs, and uh, I would say that overall their salaries are a little bit lower because it's not as in demand, and there's not, you know, basically the one C sharp place you can go is Microsoft, and salaries aren't as high. So like, kind of depends. Um, do you see yourself job hopping anywhere? No. Um, I would say you job hop until you're a senior, and then you job hop for pay raises along the way. And uh, at this point, I'm until the IPO at least. So like I have a bunch of stock options at my current job, and so uh, I like where I work. I like what I'm working on. The business is doing well, and I'm very excited about its direction. So it would be very unlikely for me to leave. You know, it would take I would never say never, but like there's just so much. I'd be leaving so much money on the table, that it would have to take a pretty stellar offer. Can you start streaming more often? No. uh, no, no, no. And it's not that I don't enjoy these things. I do. You can see I'm having kind of fun and chit chat and whatnot. It's nice to chat about things that I like and talk to people and whatnot. It's just one I I don't get a lot out of this for my time. I guess it's not like I'm trying to grow my YouTube channel. It's not like I make any money on it. Uh, and two is the olden days, back when April was around. Uh, I was kind of a workaholic, and so nowadays, I have a girlfriend that expects a lot more out of me, and she expects my time. Um, when I first started dating Kat, I was still quite a bit of a workaholic, and I was building courses, I was doing YouTube, um, and she came to me one day and she said, "Hey, uh, you should work less so we can spend more time together." I said, "But I have, I have to get this money." And she's like, uh, "We don't need the money." And she was right. Like, we don't need the money. Like, what we need is time together. And so I told her, okay, I'm going to start cycling off my projects. So I stopped doing the podcast slowly. I, uh, I stopped doing YouTube over time. I'm not saying she like did this. She just made this is just one of the conversations of like, I, start if I do a project like W3 Schools has a start and end date. And the only thing that I do consistently now is mentoring. And so if I'm going to if I'm going to do something, it usually has to have a start and end date, or there has to be, and I think it's a good way to like, once your life gets more complicated, and like, we do a lot. Her sister lives nearby. They have, I have I guess technically will be my niece. We're going over there, seeing them on the weekends, and we have lots of family events with Kat, and we have our own trips, and like we have a, Yeah, the ROI has to be worth it, right? So I have to be able to go to Cat and justify, and to myself, because like here's the thing: is like I'm old, dude. Like, like I like this is not like I will be. I am 36, ladies and gentlemen, 36 years old. Um, this machine at 25 was different than at 36. It may be a little wiser. It may be like I get tired, dude. Every night, Kat and I go to bed. I put on our tea kettle. This, you want an insight into my nightly routine? Here it is. Every night at 8:30, I put on our tea kettle. I ask Kat what type of tea she wants. We have tummy time tea, we have sleepy time tea, and then we have stress tea. And I make us 2 cups of tea. And then we go to bed. We're out by 9:30. We wake up at 6 a.m. We do our little gym routine. But like I'm in a routine, man. I can't be working, you know. But you know, I I'm much happier than I was when I was working all the time. I'm grateful that I worked. I'm grateful I built up like some passive money that's helped me buy a house as quick as I could and all that sort of stuff. And but I can't if I don't feel like it justifies it, like I feel like mentoring justifies it. I charge an amount that I'm happy with, that I could dedicate a set amount of time to, or if I take on a project that has a royalty basis that like I a little bit, I'll work hard for 3 months and it's over with minor updates. But like these live streams, they're fun, but the ROI is not there. So you'll see me jump in. I'll every once in a while. I would. My one regret is not ever going and getting the silver play button. That'd be something that I would truly cherish. But that's mainly just for my ego. Uh, what age should I get my first dev job? Excuse me. I want to say it's 28, 29. Because I'm 36. I've been doing this about 8 years. So I'd be 28. Yeah. I'd say it's easier to secure a job as a React developer just because of the amount of jobs. Um, yeah. Yeah, and it's not that like I don't have the wherewithal to like just power through. Cause I could do it. I like if I needed to, I could absolutely bills were like due. I could easily work 18 hours a day doing anything and everything. I don't just mean like filling out job apps. I don't mean just doing like contract work. I'd be Ubering, I'd be delivering pizzas. Like there's no there's no like if I had to do something to make sure the bills got paid, like that there's any quit in me. Like that's not a thing. Like I'm not worried about that. So like this extra money that like happens and stuff like that, or extra things that I do have to either progress my career or it's just money that comes in and that I can invest so that I can provide a better life for my family. And like is and you know that's it. Like um so I do like doing these. If I could get paid to just chit chat about my life and software, whew, I'd do it. I would do it. Um, I really enjoyed the podcast when Eric and I were doing that. Maybe we'll do a random episode or two. The problem was that like it didn't gain enough traction that we weren't able to monetize it too much. So yeah, gotta get that ROI though. Chit chat don't pay the bills. Yeah, and also like anyhow, I kind of you know got off tangent here a bit. Is that like the partner that I did that with didn't care that I was working myself to the bone. It was partner I have now values my time a little bit more and values my happiness more, and has helped me grow as a partner and as an individual. And um, you know, there could be seasons that I go and do certain things, but generally speaking, like, you know, as you're as you're making money, the best money that I ever made was like making $75,000 a year. Um, and just like having my own place and having the boot off my neck and feeling like I wasn't living paycheck to paycheck. Like, from a happiness perspective, that and like buying my first house are probably the only two money things that have ever like really made me happy. And that was just because it lowered my stress levels. It's just, and it's like I felt like I could breathe because I have no doubt like many of you have felt when you're living paycheck to paycheck and you're struggling, you're grinding, and you're just like, it just feels like you're trying to keep your head above water. That it's, you know, after that, after your head is above water and you're like on land per se, um, it's a little harder to force yourself to do those things. And you might even get resentful for yourself for doing it. What did I think of the DevFest conferences? Great. I spoke at one recently. I gave a talk on growth engineering. So I'm on a foundational product squad now on tasks. But previously I was on a product growth team. So I was doing lots of experimentation, lots of A/B testing. And I did that for about 18 months. So that was great. But yeah, I gave a talk on that, and I just gave it again at Orlando Code Camp maybe about a month ago. Um, where met up with Eric, program with Eric, as he's affectionately called on YouTube, and we got dinner, um, and went to the conference, whatnot. Um, but yeah, that's another thing I'm kind of torn about doing because uh, I don't necessarily like to give the same talk twice. So I've spoken at 3 conferences. Eric's not in Florida. Eric was in Florida for the conference. He's not in Florida. He's in Nevada. Um, um, but yeah, although he's all about now. So Eric is a developer advocate at Amazon now. So he's flying all about, giving talks all around the country. Yeah. Um, I'll be. Oh, speaking of which, if any of you guys are going to be at NGConf next week, I'll be there. Um, my work got a booth, and about 10 of the engineers are going. So I will be at NGConf in Salt Lake. If anybody wants to, come here, Gator. Come say hi, baby boy. Gator. No, not you're not Gator. Gator. Oh, it's the Gator boy. Yeah. But if anyone's in, oh, there's Maple. Come here, Maple. Come here. See, she's a cute cat. Got all the animals showing up. We basically have a zoo now. But yeah, I'm still working on that. I love it. And I'll be at NGConf. I can't wait. I loved. I went to NGConf, I want to say 2 years ago, and I absolutely loved it. It was a great time. Not only like the talks, but just the environment. Um, the 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 team bonding. I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait. Um, yeah, it was such a great time. I encourage you guys, if you ever get a chance to go some like NGConf is like $1,000 a ticket. That's why I asked my work to pay for those types of things. I don't. I'm too cheap to ever pay that, and I think most engineers just expect like their employers to pay for that type of stuff if they're gonna go. Um, but if there are lots of conferences that are like low cost, if not free, um, that I would highly encourage you to check out. And just not even for like the knowledge sharing so much as just the networking, the enjoyment, the sense of purpose and of being part of the same industry. I'm a big believer in going to conferences and speaking at them. I think you don't have to be a genius to like go and spit conferences. And that's not to like talk down on myself or anything like that. Is I think I'm a smart guy. I think I'm a hardworking guy, but I don't think I'm a fucking genius. Like I think I think I understand how like the game works. I get like how to work hard and things like that, but like I don't think I'm like light years above in intelligence of other people. I think I have a normal functioning brain. And the point I'm trying to make is that like put yourself out there, work hard, speak at conferences, build courses, share what you got, and like, will it be perfect the first time? No. Will it be perfect second time? Probably not, but it'll be slightly better. And just like take that one step forward in providing help and mentoring and just like learning and like be aware that like some people are gonna like hate on you for it. Like there's plenty of people that are salty that are just looking to throw their frustration about their life at you. Um, but at the end of the day, most people are not that, but those are the people that kind of stick with you. I'm sure if you looked at some of my YouTube videos, there's people telling me I'm an idiot. Matter of fact, I know there is. Um, but I really do encourage people to give that a shot. Whew. All right, guys. This has been fun. I wish you all the best. If you're interested in any of my mentoring, link in the description below. I'm on Mentor Cruise, 5-star rating, 66 reviews at this point, or 62. Perfect 5 stars. I am doing well. Happy to be a staff engineer. This is a big career milestone for me. Um, I don't have any aspirational goals to like kill myself to get to a principal engineer. Um, so we'll see. Who knows? Your boy may be going into management. Engineering management is a real thing, um, and something I need to learn more about over time. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll take on a project or there. Um, but I wish you all the best. Good luck. Stay positive. Keep working hard. Keep progressing. Connect with me on LinkedIn if you're interested. Um, next step is CEO. I don't know. I'm not. A lot of people are like interested in like running their own company and doing all that sort of stuff, but it's not for me. What's my age? I'm 36 years old, sir. 36 years old. I'm getting kind of wrinkly though. Maybe I'll spring for some Botox and see what I can do. I gotta stay. My girlfriend's almost 9 years younger than me, so like you know, she's taking better care of herself than I am, and she's got 9 years on me almost. So it's one of those things that I might need some intervention. So my spring for some Botox. So we'll see how it goes. All right. Anyhow, it's been fun, guys. Have a good weekend. Bye.